I was talking to a client the other day and I came up with a new way of explaining something and I thought I'd share it with you. I'm calling it the stress hangover. And what a stress hangover is, you know, when you've gone through a period where it's been really intense, like really busy or really stressful or really traumatic. So, you know, maybe you've gone through a period of kind of like really intense stuff at work, or you've gone through a period of sort of like a relationship breakup or a divorce. Then you come out the other side of that. And you know, the thing about stress, and I've heard this said before, that stress is a little bit like holding a bag of sugar. So for example, this is a water bottle. If it was full, you know, I might have my arm outstretched. I can't quite see, can you? There it is, arm outstretched. Let's do that, arm outstretched. You know, holding on to it. And that's fine for, you know, a little while, maybe even an hour, you know, I could hold it like that. But then after 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours or days or weeks or months, my arm's going to really hurt. Not only is my arm going to hurt, but I'm going to probably end up with a backache, a hip ache, put my knee out. It's going to get a bit too much. Well, that's stress. We are biologically programmed to be able to handle short bursts of it for a flight or fight response. You want to get away from something that's scary. But now our flight or fight responses can sometimes be, well, the brown envelope, or even now, the email. And when you've gone through a period of extreme stress where you've been holding on to something for a long period of time, the smallest thing, like an email, like the brown envelope, can suddenly fill you with this sense of anxiety, like, I won't be able to cope. One more thing and I won't be able to cope. Now, this could be long after your period of intense stress and busyness, you know, or even trauma is over. Because in a way, very much like holding out that bottle of water, bag of sugar, whatever you want to think about, you know, you may have put it down. The period of stress, trauma, anxiety, stuff might be over, but the muscle hasn't recovered yet. So the minute it even thinks about picking something else up, so I'm going to pick up this wee candle here. Oh, no, I can't handle a candle. No, don't give me the candle. I can't handle it, can't handle it. And it's not that you can't handle it. It's just the fact that the somatic memory, it's almost like the memory in your body of having held on to something for a long period of time. You haven't had time for your muscles to recover from the stress. Now, we all understand that when it comes to our body. You can go, yeah, well, of course, Becky, you know, tell me how to suck an egg, why don't you? You know, of course, yeah, you've been holding something for a long time, you put it down, yeah. And we all know about the ache that, you know, after we've gone to the gym, happens for a few days after. We all know about that. But we don't think about the ache that happens to ourselves psychologically. When you've been holding on to something, repressing something, doing too much, it can take months for you to recover. It's not the sort of thing that suddenly just goes away when you're out of the stressful situation. And then you start to think, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, why am I suddenly bursting into tears? Like, with the stressful part's over, I should be happy now. Like, we're down the other side of it. We're on holiday. Like, we're somewhere else. Like, we're in a different place. I'm okay now. Why am I still getting, like, fearful over a brown envelope, an email, a phone call? Just the belief, if one more thing happens, I won't be able to cope. One more thing happens and I won't be able to cope. It will send me over the edge. Now, of course, it doesn't send you over the edge, not normally. But here's the thing. Gentleness, self-care, looking after yourself. That when you've gone through something big, don't just pull up your bootstraps and say, oh, well, time to get on with it. It may be time to get on with it. It may be time to pull up your bootstraps. But just remember that when you get those feelings of anxiety or overwhelm or, oh my gosh, it's too much, that instead of beating yourself up and saying, what's wrong with you? Just pull yourself together. This is rubbish. You're just an idiot, or whatever your inner critic says to you. Then the thing to say is, okay, I hear you and I'm okay with that. I feel like this thing will tip me over the edge and I'm going to breathe. I heard a really great thing, which is that anxiety is the same as excitement. So fear and anxiety is the same as excitement, but without the breath. And that is true. If you love roller coasters, you're going to feel that heart palpitation, sweaty palms, you know, excited feeling, and you breathe quicker. You're like, oh God, I got a roller coaster. Now, when you're anxious and you hate roller coasters and you don't want to go on them, you have all of the same symptoms, but you go and you hold your breath. So next time you feel anxious or overwhelmed, try breathing. Breathe your way through it and you'll feel much, much better. Okay, this is Becky Walsh giving you a little insight. Over and out.